So this week we're joined by a race winner, believe it or not. Big race winner. Big
Sure am.
won a big race.
That was going to be my road to pro moment. Way to go.
No, let's I wanted to talk about it here cuz that's big
Alright.
big stuff,
There's
dude.
big news.
Thank you.
I was so happy,
Yeah.
but yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Well, Whiskey just came into the room. He heard about it.
Welcome, Whiskey.
Yeah. As the viewers may know, I've been racing BMX again for I think 3 years now. And finally, even despite being, actually I can reach it right now because it's falling off. Even though I was state number 1 last year, I still hadn't won a state race, and that all changed yesterday because I finally won a state qualifier. The trophy's super cool. It was and it just fell out. So it was a double header because a track up north got rained out, and so if you finished podium, you got a nice medal in the shape of a bike, and each day you got a little medallion for how you finished. So on Saturday, I finished 3rd, and on Sunday, I won. But yeah, feels good. I've been really, really close to winning a state race way too many times, and then to finally get one was definitely a weight off my shoulders. So I could go more into detail about how all the racing went if you guys want.
Yeah.
We can do that on the road to pro.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
We wait, yeah.
I'll go more in detail later. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped. Still on a pretty big high from that. So
Hey guys, I drove fake race cars and I won a race too. Yeah.
hell yeah.
We are 2 race winners and Joe Sawansky.
Pretty much. I have wow.
Tell you what.
That was not the kick in the balls I
Star-studded.
needed.
No, you're the face of JTN.
Yeah.
You're the face
Oh
of
yeah.
JTN.
Whoa.
You're the face of
Big
the
deal.
Maverick Cup Series.
And
Not
the
for
voice.
long. Not for long. Yeah. For the 10 people that watch that and watch this, you know. Hi, Davey. Welcome back.
Sorry, I had to take a break again. There we go.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'll deal with it.
This is Fake Racers Podcast, folks.
Welcome.
I'm Joe. You heard.
I'm Davey.
Yep.
I'm Matthew.
And
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
back
we did a good job
for another
with the intro
week.
this time.
We're back for another
Alright.
week. Just like Tyler Reddick was back in victory lane after a big win at Talladega, and what was probably one of the weirdest sequences to get to victory lane. We'll break it down bit by bit. But first off, Tyler Reddick getting a big win here. Big story too. Michael Jordan for the first time was at the track when 2311 won, which is huge.
That's pretty cool.
For the
MJ.
sport. Matter what you think
I saw-
about 2311 or Michael Jordan.
Exactly. I saw a bunch of people making funny jokes about how Bo, Tyler Reddick's son, has never been that high before. Tyler Reddick's like half of Michael Jordan's height.
It was so funny
Oh,
because
God.
they actually went to victory lane this week because they had time because they scheduled a larger TV window because it's Talladega and you assume there's going to be a red flag and there wasn't.
Yeah.
But they went to victory lane and they show the handoff of Michael Jordan handing Bo to Tyler. And
It's like jumping off a skyscraper.
it's just like he's like handing him down, you know? It was like
Michael Jordan had to kneel for that. It was really crazy.
Also, I said this last year, but like, why is every race that Tyler Reddick wins like this? Like, why can't he just win a normal race?
No, you're right.
he's in his
Right.
he's in his Ryan Blaney era right now.
He really is.
Gonna win championship in a few years' time.
Oh my
That
gosh.
could be this year.
It could be. He's been pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toyotas are
that
pretty
Toyota.
good.
Toyotas are, well, they're pretty, they're something.
They
One
have
of them
speed.
wasn't.
We'll say that.
They had
They
speed.
had speed. And they had a winning strategy. They just sort of did whatever they did. That, by the way, I couldn't believe how dumb that was. Because it was looking like it was going to be like the race winning strategy. Like they were, anywhere from like 2 to 3 seconds per lap faster after they had pit.
with
like they were
like
making
30
up ground
laps left.
with 30 laps to go, and they were pretty confident that some of the other teams were going to have to pit that were in that lead pack. And then it was so like we'll get into the Fox broadcast stuff maybe a little bit. There's been a lot of talk about it, but they like cut away for like a second and like they start doing another thing, and then in the middle of that, there's just carnage. Like the cars are just going everywhere. Erik Jones has absolutely taken a chunk out of the safer barrier. Like it was pandemonium very quickly. That went up in smoke so bad, and it all kind of started from, in my opinion, John Hunter Nemechek pushing from like four cars back for some reason.
John Hunter Nemechek, NASCAR terrorist. I mean, it's not often that you're running 7 cars single file and you somehow pile them all up, but
like I couldn't believe how many of them they wrecked.
Oh my god,
unreal.
Hi, big Erik Jones fan here. Point at the hat for the audio listeners.
Nope.
I was so angry,
dude.
Like, Davey, I think you were in there, but I like jumped in the Discord call. Like normally, I've talked about this before. I like watching races by myself because I don't know. I do. I jumped in the Discord call because I'm like, I need to just be with people right now, so I don't just start spiraling. Because I was so freaking frustrated. Because I always have flashbacks to Joey Logano being a teammate to Brad Keselowski. And
Is this just the real?
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just it keeps happening. Like I'm waiting for John Hunter to be a good teammate once, because like Logano was a good teammate in 2014 at Talladega in the fall. I'll give him that. But after that, I mean, pretty damn bad teammate. And yeah, John Hunter, like you said, he's a little terror out there on the track, and it's very frustrating. Yeah, I had that as our third bullet point on our list, but
I mean, it kind of changed the face of the race, and weirdly enough, it put
still
Tyler
worked.
Reddick in a position.
It still worked.
Yeah. Weirdly enough.
And it's because I think this isn't even the first time like Toyotas have done something like this, but it always feels like it's Bubba and Erik are the two guys who get the short end of the stick.
Oh, of course,
it really does.
Yeah.
Of course, the only two that I like, that's whatever.
Yeah.
And
side
Tyler
note
Reddick's
before
cool.
we go any further, hopefully Erik Jones is fine. I know he did an interview and then he went back to the hospital later, probably for precautionary reasons. I know for a fact he is sore as hell right now.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's good enough to get back in the car pretty quickly and not without much pain and stuff.
If you're easily affected by things like it, don't watch his in-car because it's bad.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you just search Erik Jones on Twitter, it'll be one of the first things that pops up. But yeah, his in-car, you could tell at the very least there's no more breath left in him. Like every ounce of air that was in his lungs was gone.
Yeah, so that stunk. But Toyota wasn't the only one that had a disaster class at the end of the race.
Real quick, one more thing, because I thought it was funny. The interviews in the infield care center after that Toyota wreck were hilarious because no one would say what we all knew. Well, Denny did. Denny said, "Why? I don't know why we were pushing from fourth," or he said something along those lines. But Denny Hamlin's got clout. But Bubba Wallace and Erik Jones were both asked about it, and they were both kind of like indifferent about it. And that wasn't a "oh well, whatever" answer. That was a "I'm angry right now, and I'm not going to say a bad thing about someone that I'm teammates with." But whatever.
Yeah.
That really frustrated. I laughed at that actually, but it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes back, and I don't want to go. This is a conversation for another time, frankly, because it's too big. The manufacturers' games that go on now more than ever in the last maybe decade or so, where the manufacturers are really, really trying to stick together and operate as a unit. Man, that's
poo-poo.
Man, that's frustrating to watch.
It sucks.
It does. It sucks the
Yeah,
life
it
out
does.
of watching the race. Yeah.
Yep. Like a lot of people looked at that last bit of the race like, oh, you can't jump out and you can't make any ground. Well, yeah, because the lead 3 cars of both rows are the same manufacturers that no one's moving.
Yeah.
That's literally what's going to happen.
Because they're mad. They're mad. Ford's gonna come down and yell at him because he's at all these meetings. Well, I wonder what he's gonna be saying after the end of that race. But woof.
Yeah, and like it obviously makes sense why, but like I mean, the prime example of how horribly wrong it goes is the fall 2019 race when there was the rain delay and Chevy told all of their drivers, we want a single file line with all of you in it. And then when Alex Bowman threw one of the worst blocks ever, what happened? He junked literally all of the Chevys because they were all together.
Oh my god, I remember that. That was so only because they had that meeting was that so funny too.
Yeah.
Like they just try to play these games, and it really ruins the show, and it ruins the ability to get out and pass because you're just battling 7 Chevrolets lined up. No one can do anything.
Yep.
I think that's more of a detriment to the racing than the car. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
Ford.
The end of the race. Also, yeah.
Another prime example of it going horribly wrong.
So let me set the scene. Michael McDowell leads the last 24 of 25 laps. He doesn't lead the last one, obviously.
Pain.
No, I don't care.
I'm sad.
There's a lot of I don't hate Michael McDowell, don't think he's a bad person, don't know ill will towards the 34, that team, but I am sick and tired of my driver being on the short end of the stick of something that goes one way for Michael McDowell.
I didn't even think about that, actually.
So
I started
there
piecing
was
it together
so
as you
much.
were saying it. I was
There
like,
was
wait.
so much PTSD during this race. I'm just saying. Okay, I told for the folks at home behind the scenes. Woo! I told these guys I don't want to talk too much, but I'm not going to say that this week. And well, here we are again. So last lap of the race, Brad Keselowski, Noah Gragson, they are doing so well in second and third. Want to big props to them because they're in lockstep with each other. Noah's in a position where, you know, you're third in line on the bottom, you can't really do anything but push that guy in front of you, right? Brad's in a position where he can kind of stall the 34. There's things you can do there with the energy and the momentum and kind of be that barrier between it and the lead car. And he does a great job of waiting for McDowell to get clear down the backstretch. I think they both get clear. And then Brad does a great job all of second half of the backstretch and all of 3 and 4 backing up to Noah. And NASCAR posted McDowell's on board with the spotter audio, and spotter's just yelling the whole time, back up to him, he's backing up. And you can hear they're both just backing up, and Brad just does a great job of, because he's good at this, believe it or not, does a great job, gets a great run off of turn 4, a la the 10 car, makes a big move to the outside, McDowell does a great job blocking it. Brad's that second car in line, he gets the opportunity to make a second move back to the bottom. He does, he's going to be clear, and McDowell just gets loose going from the top to the bottom because that car was probably very trimmed out, which is something I think that got lost in the shuffle there. The 34 did win the pole, and the 6 started back in the 20s. Handling versus being trimmed out. 34 gets loose, big crash. Brad can't block 3 lines behind him, and
Yeah. And, you know, once the 34 was around and he was sideways, Brad did
ran
end up
into
touching him.
Yeah.
Choked up the momentum.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that allowed Tyler Reddick to get back around him.
Um,
I'm glad you brought up, by the way, the 34 spinning out on his own because of it being so trimmed out. That's an important thing that a lot of people forget, is he actually didn't touch, like, when he was spinning out already, like, he hadn't been touched.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like the easiest way to think about it is, and I like the best description I've seen of it too, is if you remember I think it was like 2009 when Matt Kenseth flipped in the Xfinity race just from like whipping it back to the right and the car just fell over. It's because all the weight's in the left side of the car, especially at these plate tracks, and so when you're going right to left and then you're basically counter steering it back to the right, the car wants to spin out, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
So.
And combine that with a next gen car that doesn't have any side force,
That
and
too.
that thing whips. I mean, he did like a full spin and a half before he hit the outside wall.
Yeah.
It was, like, it's a little funny if you go back and watch like the first the original camera angle, because he is whipping it up towards the wall.
Yeah, there's
my
a really
God.
good onboard shot from Tyler Reddick where McDowell is just completely backwards immediately, like right, and he's still in front of Brad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to see that, Joe.
Yeah, it's okay. I know you're not, but it's fine.
No, I am. I get it. Joe, I get it.
Um,
We'll get to that.
but yeah. So I am once again asking drivers to realize that you can only get to block once. Put a video up on it. It's on Track and Turf. It still has an old JTN2 logo on it, but it's also over on JTN called "You Only Block Once." And there's some great examples of why you only block once in that video. If I got to redo, did you just say "Who cares"? Did you really say "Who cares"?
To the JTN2 logo.
I'm just saying. If people go looking back for it, they might not see a Track and Turf logo.
Oh my god.
Just letting them know. Maybe there's new people watching, Davey. You ever think about that? That your rebrand's really good, and it's got new people watching? Because it's really good, so it's probably got new people watching.
Okay, let's move on.
Anyways.
Yeah, also a big shout out. I know we're going to talk about this more, but Fox basically missed the last lap wreck. Like, what are we doing here?
Sorta.
Yeah.
There is some credence to the people who are angry about like the way that it cut away from the wreck. I also think that it's okay that we didn't get an immediate replay of anything. I think because there's a lot of people who are mad, like, we didn't even get a replay until like 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, Tyler Reddick was celebrating on the front stretch and Michael Jordan was going crazy on pit road. And if we missed that, you'd be mad.
Yeah.
But I went back and watched it because I was like, what are people that angry about? And I do kind of get it. Like, especially like the wreck kind of happens and it's still happening and cars are crossing the line. And then they cut to Tyler Reddick close up, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a little annoying.
It was
I
that,
get
and there's somebody timestamped it too. It took him literally like 7 minutes to acknowledge that Corey LaJoie was on his roof.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's just like horrible broadcast production, like direction, because they're just like, it seemed like they didn't actually like, and Joe's the expert here. We'll let him weigh in a second, but like it's like they didn't even vet any of the replays. They were just like, this camera was on the right here, show this one. And then they're like, this one was too, here, show this one. They weren't like getting any camera, like any replays that like seemed like they actually showed anything new. But Joe, go ahead. Expert.
There was structure.
TV broadcaster.
Yeah, right. I wish. I'd enjoy my life more. Davey's like, I gotta write that down. They take time like that to try to get the replays together, and I think what it's more of a failure of is they didn't have enough cameras. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That incident, anytime an incident happens like that in the tri-oval, you know, you have to trust your operators, your camera operators, to kind of capture what's the focal point. And in that scenario, the camera operators chose that the 45 was the focal point, and they wanted to follow it back to the race to the finish. So it's kind of like you're in a tough spot, right? Because on one hand, if they keep all the cameras trained on the big wreck, you don't see the finish. And on the other hand, if they keep all the cameras like they virtually did, they didn't completely. They keep all the cameras on the big on the race to the finish, you don't see the big wreck. That's why you have multiple cameras. Not because you're at the end of the day, it's not because you want a bunch of really cool angles and 6 shots, bro. But it's to make sure you can capture everything.
Yeah.
And I think what happened is that wreck happens in such a weird spot in that transition of the cameras on the track that maybe some of the operators got lost. That's just kind of what I thought in the moment. And now, the delay is because they're trying to get all those replays together to piece everything together. And as Davey said, you want to show the live stuff live. Those replays aren't going anywhere. That crash isn't going anywhere. Plus, if people are sticking around, they're probably sticking around to see the replay of the crash.
Yeah, I guess it's not necessarily that it's like it took so long to get a replay. It's more that like the booth didn't.
They weren't any good.
Yeah, the booth didn't even like know that Corey LaJoie was on his roof across the line. Like it was just crazy how it was like, oh wow, that happened, and it was like, yeah, you're there, man. What do you mean? So, but I think it all just goes back to like the booth also feels like Mike Joy is trying to herd cats a lot of the time. So the other thing too, the direction for these TV booths has gone towards watching the monitors and not watching the track. Dale Jr. talked about that a little bit. Yeah. Right?
He did, yeah.
And I think Kevin Harvick's starting to fall into that because he'll talk about stuff going on the track and we're not even seeing it. Yeah. Sometimes you catch him out on it.
Dude, it drives me crazy because Peacock's coverage of Supercross does that too, where like Carmichael will be talking about something, and I'm like, Ricky, you're there. Look out the window. I know you're there.
So that's kind of frustrating because, like, traditionally, your play-by-play guy is like probably only looking at the monitors, right?
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's supposed to be leading the broadcasters through, and the broadcast or the color commentators, and they also need. I mean, they need to see what the people at home are showing. You don't want them talking about the battle for 35th when you're showing the battle for 10th, say. It's a weird balance that Fox has kind of struggled to strike in the last few years, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's...
Oh, go ahead.
Good, sorry.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because it definitely seems like it's happened. Like the direction has definitely gone down, and it was I can't remember when they left, but you mentioned their old director left, and it definitely seems like the new guy or whoever's running things just isn't necessarily cut out for it. So, just frustrating.
Yeah. It's especially frustrating after what was seemingly like a stronger start to the season for Fox as far as like race coverage.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's only been getting worse.
So, one thing too, Fox covers the USFL, and the USFL doesn't get as good of numbers as NASCAR does, but I wouldn't be surprised if they'd lost some people to that coverage.
Maybe
because the
Like
broadcast,
some talent,
the broadcast got worse when the USFL started.
they have been.
That's a good
They've been
point.
pushing USFL big time, or UFL big time too. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. UFL, but that's
Oh, I
because
didn't even
they have
realize
a
you got it
stake in
wrong.
it.
Other football.
Yeah, I did.
The other football.
Yeah. So, and that's the big reason why Fox doesn't even try to broadcast NASCAR in the fall, right? Because they have such a big football package. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the critical people are working on UFL coverage and had to move away from the NASCAR coverage. I don't know. An interesting conversation piece.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really like, you know, it's don't put yourself in a box like these NASCAR crew chiefs are doing, putting themselves in the box.
Oh my god!
So, Davey, this is your rant. Here you go. You got, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But I know you got a good rant on this. I don't really care all that much just because it is what it is.
I wish I could just copy and paste everything I've said in the past because it's all up. It's all applicable.
It's all
here.
there.
Rodney Childers is on whatever front stretch or whatever that Twitter page is that posts the interviews that are really close to their face and stuff. And Rodney Childers is talking about, oh, we got to do something so we don't got to save fuel and maybe we add a fourth stage or something like that. And like, here's the thing. I have a feeling that is once again just more crew chief posturing for like in some way, like, hey, what if I suggest this crazy thing, they'll do something else and we can get an advantage out of that. So like, I don't know, maybe. Mainly though, why is everyone complaining about saving fuel? You could not. It's a super speedway.
Literally, look at what the Toyotas did.
We get yellows. The Toyotas didn't save fuel, and they were about to wipe your ass. What are we talking about? Oh, well, when everyone's saving fuel, that's not racing. Then go race. What are you doing? What are we waiting for? What's the... Like, they said go. Green flag waved. What? No one's forcing you to do this. No one's forcing you... like, copy and paste back from Bristol. No one's forcing you to run the tires off your car. You're running the tires off your car. No one's forcing you to run 30% throttle the whole race. You're running 30% throttle the whole race. If you can go 4 seconds a lap faster full throttle in the draft than you do when you're saving fuel, I have a wild suggestion. Those 40 or 50 laps that are your fuel window, go 4 seconds a lap faster. I bet you'll see some results. And I bet you that if you don't see results, everyone else is following you. And they also have to pit now. It's crazy. It's weird.
Remember,
these people get paid to do this.
Remember in the 500 when AJ Allmendinger got like stuck by himself and he like pretty much ran the pack back down by himself?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm surprised they didn't look at that and go, huh, that's weird. Maybe we shouldn't do this again.
Imagine if he was by himself and his crew chief was like, hey, I don't know, we have no other choice. Make sure you run a quarter throttle all by yourself. AJ's like, what? No, we have to. There's no other way. Like
The other thing
makes
is,
no sense.
you got people complaining about the cars again, that the cars
Oh
don't
my
generate
God.
big enough runs and can't pass. When like literally last year with the same package, the racing was better. I don't like this whole fuel saving thing. It only came about in the 500 this year.
Yep.
So like this isn't, and the car didn't change, right?
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
So
Everyone's just making stuff up. Honestly, if we didn't have two short tracks in a row, this weird like tone shift on the next gen car would not have happened.
yeah, no, yeah. It's like what it is they see the opportunity to poke holes in it, right?
Well, yeah, and because there's people who fundamentally disagree with like certain aspects of the car, and this is their moment to tear it down. Like I don't think the short track package is amazing. I don't think it's the worst thing that we've ever seen, but I definitely don't think it's amazing. It needs work, but I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, the next gen car is trash." Like, look at all the decisions NASCAR made over years. It's really bad, and the next gen's one of them. Like, it's just like the revisionist history of just the last 2 years is unbelievable. Like, the intermediate racing is the best it has been in literal decades. Literal fucking decades. And we're still acting like the next gen car is the worst thing to happen to the sport. Like, yeah, it needs fixes, but we've had the car for 2 years. The Gen 6 was like everyone talks, and especially this is my favorite example because everyone talks about the Gen 6 super speedway racing that we got from like 2019 to 2021. You know, the Gen 6 was around for 6 years before that, and it fucking sucked on super speedways until 2019. It sucked. It was the worst car on the super speedways. It was never, ever, ever any good.
Go
And it
rewatch
took that long to fix it.
Go rewatch like a Talladega race from 2017. It's abysmal.
Oh my god, go rewatch some of the mid 2010s Daytona 500s.
Yeah.
Go back and watch.
Like 2013.
Go back and
the first
watch Brad winning the 2016 Coke Zero 400.
Oh god. It's literally
I
the worst
enjoyed
race.
it. I enjoyed it.
Shut
No,
up.
that's the thing. Like,
I was like, this guy just dominated this race
Yeah.
I mean,
because he
do anything.
All
knew
of
what to do.
Dale's plate wins in 2014 and 2015. Awful races, just because they had a car that was so trimmed out that nobody could get close to him.
Yeah, but Dale won, so it's good.
Yeah.
But guys, the Gen 6 was so good. Remember those last couple years where it was good at like 6 tracks?
Yeah. Where we put giant
Remember how it
parachutes
was-
on the backs of the cars, so then if you were out front, you were going 10 miles an hour slower than everybody else.
Remember?
What are we doing?
Remember how good that car was on short tracks and road courses? 'Cause it,
Yeah,
it wasn't built to go around short tracks and road courses. Crazy.
Remember
That's
when you would
insane.
look at the Gen 6 wrong and it would grenade its radiator?
Oh my god, I remember that.
Poor Ford.
Dude,
Ford struggles when
again-
they bring a new car.
just give it a little bit of time. First of all, you shouldn't even, the super speedway racing with the next gen is actually pretty good now.
Yeah.
Second of all, just give it a little bit of time, man.
It's not the next gen's fault that nobody wants to race.
Pat, thank you. Can we move to Xfinity? I'm out of it.
Jesse Love won the Xfinity race. It was a brawl at the end. Jesse Love was just hugging Regan Smith in his post-race interview. I thought that was weird.
Dude, I found out recently that Jesse Love's local from where I'm from.
Oh,
I have no idea who this guy is, and I just found out.
isn't he your sworn enemy because he replaced Sheldon Creed, your favorite driver ever?
Yeah. I mean, I like Sheldon Creed. I don't like him that much.
Can you take me
Um,
higher?
But no, yeah, I like didn't even know who Jesse Love was, and then I was talking to my cousin about him winning at the track, and he was like, "Yeah, like my cousin's boyfriend knows Jesse Love," so
Sounds like you can get free tickets.
yeah, so yeah. More importantly, Brendan Poole was that close to redemption, man. He was so close. Oh my god, I wanted that so bad for him. So I don't know if you guys know him, but Jay Lopez, friend of the show, who works for Alpha Prime, keeps us plugged in, and I was telling him in a Discord server, and I was like, dude, you guys got a steal in Brennan Poole because he's been killing it, and I wanted him to win that race for you guys so badly. And the fact that they wrapped that car to look like the one that he got screwed at Talladega, and it's so funny too. But, yeah.
Yeah, have no reason to talk about that race.
Oh yeah, what happened in
It's
that
just
race?
Just a new thing every week with that 48 crew.
What did they do this
Start to
week?
the season. Well, they were looking like they were gonna win, and they got like swallowed up on a restart. They were in that restart melee that like was
Yeah.
a crash right on the green. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to was it
pretty cool.
SVG that just ran out of fuel like immediately?
He did that. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened. Someone shoved it down in the bottom, like where half a car length was, and then people were like, "Well, Parker Corrigan left a lane there," and then like the field wrecked, and it was like, okay, I'll just...
It was all Parker's fault.
It was.
All right. Well, that was the Xfinity race.
Yeah.
Sure was.
Davey's depressed about it, so we won't talk about it anymore.
I've been depressed about every Xfinity Series race the last
The ARCA race went caution-free, and that's all you need to know. All right.
Like I said before the show, a race where literally nothing happened.
Yep.
The pole
was
sitter
no
led
cautions.
every lap.
No passes for the lead. Nothing.
I dare you to look up ARCA Talladega highlights, because it'll be the green flag and it'll be the checkered flag.
Yeah, it's like green flag here at Talladega. Jake Finch wins at Talladega, and then they just go.
That's the end of the video. Maybe we should make that video.
There's
I'm
a
gonna make
really
that
good
video.
edit of it's just called the 2020 F1 season in a nutshell, and it's like lights out and away we go, Lewis Hamilton, and then it cuts wins at.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
that
gotta
was
make
ARCA.
that video.
All right. Ready to go from the shop?
Oh god, I wasn't ready.
One
of
No,
these
such-
days I'll
such
be
good
ready.
streak.
You were ready
No,
last
you've been-
week.
You've been ready.
There it is.
From the shop.
Clang, clang.
Just get like an actual shop sound effect, but no.
You should get like
Get
pots
it-
and pans and
We should call it
from the shop throw them.
Oh, I should have grabbed my new drill that I just bought and just like revved that up. real
Zoom,
quick.
zoom.
do the thing.
Yep.
You ever walk around with your drill and like hold it like a gun?
Dude, I was I was
Ever
doing
do
the other
that?
day because I got quick side tangent because I needed to buy Milwaukee batteries and I got like a deal that came with like batteries and a charger and a drill and an impact, whatever.
Of course.
But I was saying to my roommate, I was like, "Hey, if you need holes drilled in anything, do you need anything tightened? I got you covered now. So just let me know. Got any loose screws? Anything?"
Zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
And when you do, every time right before you hit the button, right before you go, whoo, just make sure you go, "Hey, I'll say Joe. Hey Joe,
Yeah, Davey.
screw you," and then start screwing.
Yeah. Anyway, the shop.
Kroger is reportedly leaving the 47 team.
Goodbye, JTG.
Along with part owner Tad Geschecter, who both are rumored to be moving to Joe Gibbs Racing. Tad had helped JGR get sponsorship in the past as part of his whatever you want to call it, firm, let's say, licensing or sponsorship firm or marketing firm. That's probably what it's.
Geschecter? I never even knew her.
So there's a
Rick
couple.
Stenhouse, you are the new driver of the Alpha Prime 45 car.
Rick Ware, come on.
Come on down.
Welcome back to Roush Fenway Racing.
We're starting the Xfinity program back up for you.
Right? I don't know. I don't know how I like it because it's, Kroger and the 47 team, like, it's kind of been a match made in heaven almost, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it because Tad Geschicter is a former big wig at Procter & Gamble.
Always helps.
Always helps to know people in high places. But yeah, kind of sucks because like Brad Doherty really likes, and I don't know where he ends up in this too, and where that charter ends up because that's probably a bigger thing. If that charter ends up with 2311, maybe
That's what Noah, Joey's friend of the show, was speculating. Goes to 2311, and then when Denny wants to go there to race for his own team, he's got it there.
I was going to say another good candidate is if RCR wants a third team for Austin Hill next year.
Oh Lord, they don't need one.
Yeah.
or Trackhouse wants that third team for one of the two drivers they need to put in a car.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm actually like, kind of torn about it. I saw that news when I got to the gym today, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'd be bummed if it meant JTG disappears.
Yeah.
Because they're like the last independent, and like I know they're not independent, but they're like they're the only single car team. Like I don't count Wood Brothers,
Right. Yeah.
because Wood Brothers is like fully Penske fourth car, right?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
JTG still seems to have some autonomy,
Mhm.
and when they go away, there's no one left, right? There's no other single car
yeah.
teams.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there are any other single car teams. Yeah.
We could be heading towards charter prices actually going down if there's, say, 3 on the market this offseason, like there's been rumors about.
Dale Jr., welcome back to the game.
Because there's obviously SHR has been rumored to sell a charter. If the JTG charter's up for sale, and then I don't know where the third one comes from, but I'm sure someone will be like, it's time to sell a charter. Colleague Racing, come on down.
I'm just because since you mentioned Stuart Haas, I'm just trying to think who would be the odd man out.
What do you mean?
I mean, like who would be? I mean, I guess it would be Ryan Preece probably, which sucks. But
Chase Briscoe.
yeah.
Actually, weirdly enough,
That's the rumor.
the rumors I've heard has been the 14 charter.
Is it really? Oh wow.
Yep.
And it has nothing. It has everything to do with like, I don't know if that's the fit anymore. Too right? Like
Yeah, because Briscoe, I feel like he's been running well this year, and he's like Tony Stewart's guy. Yeah.
but who's to say Tony Stewart wants to be there anymore? You know,
That's a good
That's
point.
true. That has been a perpetual rumor. Yeah.
for
like
some reason.
5 years now.
Oh, he's not at the racetrack. He's drag racing. He's not in NASCAR anymore.
And then Joe chimes in. He's like, he's working on his deal to get Dodge back to the
Yeah,
sport.
exactly. That's what he's doing, man. Let me live off in the loony bin, okay? So yeah, no.
Let me live out my self-insert NASCAR fan fiction, please.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. But it'd be a bummer to see him go.
Yeah.
There's also some speculation that it's just going to become the JGR or another JGR satellite team with Corey Haim getting in the car eventually or something like that. But
We don't need another JGR satellite team.
So he needs to make
Just
an image of like, you know, the Grim Reaper knocking on all the doors of like the new single car JGR satellite team. So it's like Front Row Motorsports, and then what was that team that Jeffrey Earnhardt ran one race
Furniture Row.
for? Or that's what I mean, yeah.
Right.
And then that 81 car that Jeffrey Earnhardt ran once, and then Levine, come on down, and then now it's your turn,
Now
JTG.
JTG Doherty.
I mean, they're already
Joe,
taking
it's
the
gonna-
sponsor.
Hall of Fame Motorsports.
Joe, is it
Come
going to
on
hurt
down.
when Erik Jones gets announced for the JTG ride after Corey Haim gets promoted to JGR in the 11 car?
Wait, who's taking over the 43 then?
Not Erik Jones.
If Erik Jones gets kicked out of the 43, I'm going to be so sad. Because you have no idea. Okay, so my dad was a big... This is a tangent that I don't need to have right now, but I'm going to have it. My dad was a big Richard Petty fan. And I grew up on the Cheerios number 43 car. That was my favorite car. Couldn't give a rat's behind about John Andretti and Jeff Green and whatever that Fittipaldi's first name was. Could not have cared. But it was
Christian.
the Cheerios 43 car.
You're telling me you weren't a huge Shane Meal in the 43 car fan? I'm
Exactly.
pretty sure he ran a race in the 43 car. Hang on.
I had little Cheerios racing overalls, and I still have this picture of me as like a 2-year-old at like the merchandise transporter on the step, like to go up into it. Anyways,
Joe, where are we going?
I was so happy when Erik Jones took over the 43 car, just for the fact that it was like, yes, I can root for this car, and it's a driver that I like before I'm rooting for the car. I was so happy, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm going with it. So if that gets taken away from me, I'm done. I'm officially done. No more NASCAR. That's it. If that gets taken away. Now, if Erik Jones leaves to go race for, like Hendrick or something, that's okay. But
That's not getting taken away.
That's not getting
But
taken
otherwise,
away.
it is getting taken away.
Yeah,
Getting taken away like our scoring pylons have been taken away.
exactly. See, you knew where I was going with that.
Can't have shit in Biden's America anymore.
Is that the second political reference in a row?
Shit.
Uh,
Well, I see what side of the train tracks you fall on. Yeah, NASCAR now took away a scoring pylon, this time at Talladega. SMI took one away at Texas last week. The rationale is use the NASCAR mobile app.
That's horrible.
My answer to that is give us Wi-Fi, and
Yeah.
maybe we can.
have you
Or an
tried
app
getting
that
on your
works.
phone at a race?
Have you tried using the NASCAR app with functioning Wi-Fi?
I use it to check in to every race.
Yep, me too.
Now, sometimes it
When it
gets
works.
confused and says, you didn't check in. And I'm like, yes, I did. So you know what
Yeah.
I do? You know what I do? I take a screenshot that I checked in every time, just in case. So I can get my damn points.
God. Anyway, the story is, the scoring pylons, like the companies that originally made the parts for them are defunct and out of business. They're obsolete, and it costs $5 million for a new scoring pylon.
That's bullshit. That's a bullshit answer.
I could do it for cheaper.
It's not even that. It's not even the parts are expensive. It's just a bullshit answer.
Are you sure?
Yes.
'Cause I'm hearing that from everywhere.
No, I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care. Because guess what? There are better solutions than saying, "Oh, well, watch your app or watch the little scroller." Literally,
No. Joe. I'm not talking about the fucking app anymore. Get off the app.
no.
Get off the app.
No.
Joe, the app doesn't work. Get
No,
off the app.
I understand.
We're talking about other
the,
stuff.
The rationale is, well, we're not
There's
going to
no-
try to spend
I'm not-
$5 million to fix the scoring pylon because we already have this other solution that kind of works. That's the rationale. That's the
Joe,
cost-benefit
we know that.
analysis that
What-
they're doing. My point is, Davey, I don't want to hear it, okay? They are taking away a quintessential part of the racing experience, and I don't like it. I will not stand for it. If they
very
get rid of the
Twitter
scoring
review.
pylon, they get rid of the scoring pylon at MIS. I'm
Is
You're never gonna go again.
is
Nope.
that not the most like
I'm
late
not gonna
stage
say that.
capitalism thing possible? Where they were like, "Hey, we used to do this thing for you, but now you can do it yourself."
Yeah.
make sure you log on to
So-
our Wi-Fi so we can collect all your data too. By the way,
Yeah.
Anyway, since Joe's gonna go off on a tirade about tangential nonsense, I'm just gonna have a real thing. I wonder what the 5 million price is. Like, I wonder if that's like we're gonna remake the pylon exactly as it was, or if it's like, hey, the thing at IMS costs this much actually. If you want to not spend $5 million, because like is a scoring pylon gonna keep race fans away from the racetrack?
No.
Realistically. No. Is it stupid that they're taken away? Yes. Is it stupid that they're not replacing them? Yes. Obviously, it's stupid that they're recommending to use the app. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
disagrees with that. I'd be surprised if they believe that shit's coming from their mouths.
or watch the 3 little video boards that they have set up that you can hardly read from most sections of the grandstands. But go ahead.
Well, my home track is Daytona, so I don't have that problem actually. But point is,
Dude, you are gonna learn when we go to Indy. It's gonna be great. You are gonna
I'm gonna
learn.
learn.
You are gonna learn.
Because even when I go to Charlotte, there's the big screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That is the funny thing, though, that it's like I was trying to find the price tag for it, but they're like, "Yeah, we can't afford to put up a new scoring pylon, but we can't afford to put the world's largest TV on the backstretch at Texas Motor Speedway." So it's like, yeah, just take that
That's-
and cut it into 4 pieces, and then turn it on its side, and now you have.
That's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Is like it cannot be that much more. It cannot be that much money to just put LED
big
screens
LED
going
screen.
straight up.
This is a solved problem.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's my thing.
There's no way
Like,
that it
haha,
cost $5
funny
million
stuff.
to build the old one. There's absolutely no way.
So what it probably is the parts probably cost that because they don't make the parts anymore.
Yeah.
That's
That's
how I feel
probably
about
what
the
it
old one.
is.
Yeah.
But a new one with an LED screen, I absolutely agree. There's no fucking way it costs $5 million to build tall LED screens.
I actually
There's
want to
just
do
no
the math
way.
because As we know, TVs are extremely cheap now, and I wonder how many like new LED TVs it would cost to build with like the scoring pylon.
God. Oh my
To do
God.
some investigative journalism now.
Anyway, people are pretty upset about it. I agree. You should be upset about it. I don't think there's some people who like this is like the thing that they're dying. This is the hill they're dying on, and just don't.
That was the caricature I was doing, by the way.
No, that was genuine, Joe.
No,
I'm
it
not
wasn't.
letting anyone believe. Nope. I'm gonna cut out this right now. In fact, we're gonna do like one of those like we're gonna clip part of the podcast to put at the front, and we're gonna do our snazzy intro, and then like we're gonna get to that part, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe Joe was serious about that. What was your bottom split moment of the week, Joe?
Taking away the scoring pylon.
Matt.
It
your
was
bottom split moment? No,
my bottom
you
split
lost
moment
it.
was John Hunter Nemechek, but
Okay,
or Michael
I believe
McDowell. You know,
So-
one of the two.
Yeah. So my
One of the two
bottom
that screwed over my guys.
my bottom split moment is, I mean, those were both great examples of
Thank you.
fantastic teamwork, but there was an even better
Oh.
one this week, and that's right. I'm talking about Supercross again.
Oh yeah.
So, Pro Circuit Kawasaki for 25 years has been a factory of 250 championships. Like, if you get signed to a Pro Circuit ride, you are going to win races and you're going to win championships. But for the last 5 years, they have been absolutely cursed. This year, things are finally starting to go well for them. They are leading 250 West with absolutely dominating rides by Levi Kitchen, and they're leading 250 East with Cameron McAdoo, who's been extremely consistent, right? This week was the first East-West showdown race of the season. There are only 2 Pro Circuit Kawasaki riders right now because the other 3 are injured. On the first lap of the main event, Levi Kitchen and Cameron McAdoo collide mid-air and crash each other out of the race, and both of them lose their points leads. And McAdoo's probably out for the rest of the season.
That's
They went into
unbelievable.
Nashville leading both championships, and they are leaving Nashville with all 5 of their riders injured and no points leads. Bottom split moment of the season for me. So, yeah. Davey, how about you?
Oh my gosh. I was just going through seeing if I could find one because I don't. Besides the fact that I was really busy all week, it was a pretty good week. Man, Parker Kligerman's day at Talladega. That's a pretty good, easy one.
How does this keep
just
happening?
'cause pain.
Yep.
Hey Joe.
My road to pro moment this week. What? What were you gonna say?
Go ahead. Just go.
What
Joe,
were you gonna say?
go.
Because you were gonna be like, "Oh, Joe, what's your road to pro moment?" Trying to catch me out. But guess what? I was listening.
Nope.
I'm always
Yeah,
listening.
You got
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
That's
You
right.
got me.
That's right.
I was trying to get you. Joe, and you got me. You got me, Joe.
You know
I
what
was
my
trying to
road
get you.
road
And
to
you
pro
got me.
moment of the week was? Me just now. That was my road to pro
Your
moment of the week.
segment ambush. I do love that at least once an episode we completely grind the momentum of the show to a halt.
It's usually my fault too. It's great. Mind you, after the show, I'll be complaining about how it took so long and all this, and it's like, it's all my fault.
That's that and
Hi.
Davey's staunch refusal to yes and anything. So
I'm the improviseur's worst nightmare.
there is. So I've been listening to the show Late Night with Brian Wecht a lot, and Brian talks about how he loves bits that absolutely bomb. He was like, if I don't make at least one joke that absolutely does not work, I feel like I failed.
You're not taking risks, right?
Yeah. There's nothing funnier than absolutely
That's
bombing.
very funny. That's very funny. Oh my god.
In all seriousness, my road to pro moment of the week has to go out to, drumroll please, thank you, the Detroit Red Wings for not making the playoffs. Congratulations to the Detroit Red Wings for not making the playoffs. But also, It actually goes out to the Detroit Lions for their new jerseys because their new uniforms are sick, and I love them, and I'm so excited to see them in person at the draft.
I do want to talk about the absolute like swing.
No.
And I'm not saying this as a Capitals
No.
fan. It's just pure comedy of
No.
like the Red Wings score, and it's like, holy shit, they're gonna do it. And then literally 30 seconds later, it's like, oh, the Flyers pulled their goalie and they got scored on, and it's over. Oh.
Literally, I don't know. Like the Flyers, like just wait until the Red Wings game is officially over.
Well,
Just wait.
Well,
Just wait until it's officially over.
well, they pulled their goalie because they needed to win in regulation.
Right. If they would have waited like 30 seconds, they would have known.
Yeah.
They pulled the goalie after the Wings had scored to tie the game to go to overtime. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me the out-of-town scoreboard didn't have that game on it the entire game, because guess what? My out-of-town scoreboard on my Bally Sports app had that score on the entire game, so I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Davey, what was your
Looking
road
forward
to
the
pro
first
moment?
round to exit? Getting swept, hell yeah. Okay.
New York Rangers, baby. Davey, what was your road to pro moment?
Nothing hockey related, unfortunately.
Ah.
Not a hockey fan. I hate to say it. I hate to break it to you guys. I know you guys are all thinking I was a big hockey fan.
Yeah, you look like it.
Love that hockey. Wait, I've got a sound.
I have two road to pro moments. My first one, I won Indy Road Course in the U.S. World Cup Series. That's pretty cool. We take those all day.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
My second one being, I went into the weekend. Tottenham Hotspur had an off week, and I was like, oh, Tottenham Hotspur, they can't hurt me this weekend. Thank goodness. It's been a season of ups and downs, and you know what? There's going to be neither. They cannot hurt me. And our one of our starting players in our team had surgery for an injury over the off weekend, so they ended up ruining my weekend anyway, and they didn't even play. And that is, if you ever want to get into soccer and you want to really experience your emotions, be a Tottenham Hotspur fan, because you experience all of them, and it's not boring.
Yeah.
As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
All right.
That was Davey.
I downloaded that months ago. It finally came in handy.
Uh,
Oh my god, dude.
and Matt, your road to pro moment.
All right. So I was going to talk about it more. The aforementioned first state win, which I'm
Bookending the
still
episode.
excited about.
Beauty.
I want to talk about how the weekend went, because a big shout out also to my buddy Andrew Forgy, who had it's just an absolutely ridiculous weekend of racing. So on Saturday, I went into this race. It was a state race at my home track, and I was like, if I don't win this one, I don't know when I'm ever going to win a state race. And in my first moto, of course, I got gate 8, which for those of you who don't know BMX, it's the very outside one, which is the worst one. And despite that, I still pulled a whole shot and was half a bike length into the lead in the first corner. And then because I was the very outside, I immediately got past and finished second my first moto. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. Like, I'll take it. Like, I'm in the main event. And I was like, just give me a good gate in the main. And instead I got gate 7, which is better, but still bad.
Please help
so
me.
I was like, well, I better get the best start of my life. And I got one of the best starts of my life, but the exact same thing happened again. And so then I was second throughout the whole second straight, and I was all over the leader, and I was like, all right, I'm going to square him up. I've got him. I came out of the second berm. I was flying through the whoops. I was like, here we go. And then my buddy Jordan just absolutely blew my doors off on my left side out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. And I got third. But I got to talk about Andrew. So when we talked about a few weeks ago when I crashed really hard at Lemoore, Andrew was the one I tangled with. And he still pulled the podium out of that despite the fact that he was hurting pretty bad. So on Saturday, in our first moto, he started right next to me because we can't get away from each other. And on the first jump, he tried to pedal manual, almost looped out, almost crashed into me. And when he landed, he somehow turned his seat sideways. And so he couldn't pedal. Like he hit it with his thigh. So he finished dead last in that one. And then when I watched our second moto, he hole shotted everybody, came unclipped over one of the doubles, almost crashed, was like flying one leg completely off his bike, saved it, gathered it up, got into third, made a pass for second, almost crashed again in the last corner, made the main event, and then hole shotted and won.
Oh my god.
And I was telling him, I was like, before the main, I was like, can you have just a normal race for once. Why is every race I run with you like this? And then he won, so I was pretty pumped about that. I was like, I was mad that I didn't win, but I was like, I'm pumped that you got that one because every race I've run with you has been chaos. And then on Sunday, I was like, all right, I'm racing literally all the same people again. I was pissed that I didn't get it done in the main. I'm just going to go win today. Same exact thing in my first moto. Got gate 4. Thought I had a great pick. And my buddy Cody, just like he did in the first moto on Saturday, passed me in turn 1. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'll take second. And then I almost died on the first jump out of the first corner. Gathered it up. Held on to third for dear life so I didn't have to run my second moto. And I was like, okay, I'm in the main. Just give me a good gate. I've been pulling incredible starts all week, and I'm on the outside every single time. And then about an hour and a half later, I checked my moto, and I had gate 2. And I was like, okay. I've got either guy on side of me has not been getting good starts at all. Like, this is the time, right? Like, I've pulled good starts constantly. I have to get one here. And sure enough, got the inside into turn 1, had the advantage, got the lead, never gave it up. Finally won a state race.
Awesome.
It's taken me so long to do, but I finally did it. So, and I was mentioning it. I've had like imposter syndrome about the fact that I got state 1 without winning a race. Because there's luck in everything, but like it's hard to sometimes differentiate that from being a little fortuitous. And so I was like, I finally just went out and did it. I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to tell anybody like, oh, I'm state 1, but I haven't won one of these races yet. And it was funny because I was talking to my brother afterwards because I was like, so many people don't know that even though I have the green number 1 plate that I haven't won one of these. So people were probably confused when I crossed the line and I was just like punching air, super pumped and like losing my mind. And I was like, I finally got the monkey off my back. So I was very pumped for that.
Dude. That's awesome.
And I got a national at the same track in 2 weeks. So hopefully I can go win my first national.
Here's a question. Did you put the Fake Races podcast sticker on anything that you own for this?
I have not yet. So
well, the fact that they're in your possession and then you won, I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's
saying.
It's good mojo right here. So
they're in your possession.
Yeah.
And you won.
Yeah. Before they came here, I'd never won a state race. So
Cause and
I
effect.
don't think you're ever gonna lose.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's good to hear. I was excited when you sent the video and told us in the US Raw chat.
Yeah.
This weekend.
As a relief.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
How you doing, Joe?
Well, folks, that's Fake Racers podcast for this week. Wow, just a bunch of winners here
Damn
on
right.
the podcast this week.
You okay, buddy?
I'm just so happy. I'm just so proud. There we go. He bit it. That
That's
had
not
to
actual
hurt.
gold.
Hell yeah.
but-
Yeah, it still had to hurt though.
Yeah. No, I didn't bite down too.
Oh, okay. Ooh, good. This week on JTN, we're broadcasting tomorrow night with our friends over at Hobo from Talladega. So no Maverick Night in America this week. And yeah, so tune in tomorrow night, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time, or tonight when this comes out, Tuesday, April 23rd. You can follow Matt at msteelman51 on Twitter.
Oh, I never posted the video on there. I got to do that.
So he'll be posting the video on there, and we'll
Yeah.
retweet it to show him some love. So that's
Yeah.
what we do. You can follow at Fake Racers over there on X. You can follow at Track and Turf on X as well. All of like one tweet on Track and Turf, but you know, we're trying.
Yeah. Listen, there might be some light at the end of the tunnel this week.
I like it.
Actually, for once.
Well, I'm going to be at the draft, so I'm going to try to get as much content as I can.
Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah.
So it probably won't be
Definitely.
great, but I just thought about that. So we'll see
Who cares,
what we
dude?
can do.
Content.
I'm going to have my buddy just record me driving to the draft. Hey, can you just do this for
Just-
me real quick?
Uncut footage of Joe driving to the draft. No coverage of the draft. Just driving there.
POV, you're driving to the draft.
You're about to get drafted. Davey will be streaming this weekend over on Twitch at D7H5 with an ER at the end, maybe with Streamlabs, maybe with OBS Studio.
Yeah. Well, I'll be streaming with whatever doesn't make my screen look like I'm running iRacing on a toaster. It's, had to cut the stream short, unfortunately. this past weekend. So I apologize for all of the folks who were there. I know there was actually a few that had to cut the stream off from, but it's unfortunate. It gave me more time to watch JTN, fortunately. That's good. But I will be streaming somehow. I don't even know where we're racing this week, but I'll be streaming.
So, yeah, folks.
Make sure you, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you comment or like.
Yeah.
If you're listening on Spotify, drop a rating or follow us on Spotify. Just engage with us. Disagree with us. We yelled about a lot of stuff this week, and I know someone's mad at something we said. The next gen car is the best cars NASCAR has had ever. Okay, now you got to argue with me. There's no way you agree with that.
If you do, you're wrong. Okay, folks. Yeah, thank you so much. As always, we appreciate you for tuning in, for listening, for however you can help support us. We appreciate you so much. We'll see you guys next week on the Fake Racers Podcast.
Goodbye.